Dear friends, I'd like to welcome you to a early milestone episode of Data Science Live. This is episode 10, and sometimes I hold my hands up for the numbers, and yeah, can't do that anymore. I only have 10 fingers. Next episode, well, I'm not going to hold my hands up. So today we're going to be doing data frame cutting as the term that I like to use on it. I don't know if that's a proper tidyverse term or an R term or a data science term for that matter. So live coding with the R programming language, and I'm going to be here for about 20 to 30 minutes to keep you a little bit of company. I have sitting across from me and next to me are my two sons who are playing video games with their friends, and they can be quite loud. I've told them to keep it down, but you may hear them. Sorry for the interruptions, okay? So today, one of the things that I want to do before we get started is to give shout outs to my new followers on Twitch. So I have 4 new followers, and I'd like to give them some shout outs to Claire Song Lee Jang, Sky Demon 428, True Boss 265, and What is Orange? That's my son and their gamer friends, why you hear the laughing here. So yes, they do watch. They do try to watch and try to get it, okay? But good. Thank you for subscribing to the Twitch channel. Every subscriber helps. Every subscriber helps. So today I'm going to be using the same data set that I think I used a couple episodes ago. It's the UN Food and Agriculture Organization for hog farming, and the one that we're going to be using is the consumption data set. So before I get started here, I'm going to paste the URL in here for you to access the data, just in case you want to use it. So here we go. And the other thing I want to say before I get started as well is I've added another streaming channel. So I mentioned it last week, and this week we are on Africa TV in South Korea. So I'm here, I believe it's 7:30 Saturday morning in South Korea. So I'd like to welcome all the South Korean viewers here to Data Science Live. I know it's in English, but hopefully coding is coding, and you might be able to just kind of pick up what I've got on the screen. So thank you for watching. And so let me loosen my tie here, and we'll get started. Oh, this tie, there we go. It's taking a little bit of difficulty here. Okay. And yeah, that feels better. It's a hot day here in Texas. So I'm going to bring in 2 libraries today, and the first one is going to be Readr. And then the second one is going to be the dplyr library, because we're working with data frames today. And just highlight these and run. So got both the libraries in. So using the Readr library is because we have to read in the data set. I have put the data set on datasciencelive.com, but let's just put our comment in here first. Oops. Comment in here. Read data. Okay, And I'm going to call this consumption. And we're going to read CSV because it's a CSV file. And read CSV can also like read URLs. And I'm just going to copy and paste this URL that I have here in. Okay. Paste it. Okay, and let's take a look at the data set. Okay, I'm going to just open it up here using the view. And yes, this is our consumption data set. We have the 3 countries in here. It is kilograms per capita on the consumption. We've got China, we've got United States, and we have the 28 European Union countries. So that's our data set for now. And that's what I'm going to be using here. So, okay. Now let's do something with this data. Like I said, we're going to be cutting the data frames. So the first thing that I wanted to maybe take a look at is we have all this consumption data. It's all by year and by country. So I'd like to see maybe the top 3 years of pig consumption or pork consumption for these 3 countries. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to call this the biggest. Okay. And let's call top consumption is going to be SUMPTION. We're going to take the consumption data frame. Okay. And then I'm going to select the columns that I want out of here. So select, I'm going to take country. I'm going to do year. I'm going to do the value. And I'm going to do the unit. Now, I want to take a look at the top 3 values for the consumption here. And the function that we're going to use in dplyr is called top n. So let's just kind of take a look at it. Say top n, and this is going to give me, it gives you, let's just take a look at top n, right? This is, it'll slice it for you. That's why I say we're cutting data frames. And I'm going to take the top 3, and I'm going to use the top 3's values. Okay? And the last thing I want to do is, once I get the top 3, I just kind of want to order them. So we're going to arrange them by country, and TRY, and descending value. Let's take a look and see what we have for our data here. Okay, got the data set. It's called top consumption. I've got 3 observations on that and 4 variables. So it pulled out the top 3, and I want to take a look at these. Top consumption, 42.15 kilograms per capita in 1998 from the European Union. 1999, they slowed it down a little bit to 41.89. And then in 1988, it was 41.3. So when it comes to pork consumption, from, I think, what was our data set? Our data set's from 1961 to 2013. These 3 years, the Europeans were the kings of consumption. Okay, so let's take a look at, next thing we want to do is take a look, let's take a look at what happened in the United States and China on the consumption side. So we're going to do biggest consumption by country. And this, let's call this big. So I'm just going to copy and paste a couple of these lines here just because they do the same thing and we don't need to type them over again, except I'm going to move that over so it can be a little bit more readable. And right here, I'm going to use a group by function. And we're going to group it just by country. Okay. And now, kind of back to the same thing that I did before. I'm going to copy and paste the top three. Move it over here. I'm a little particular about how my code looks. So run these things. And this is good. We have 9 observations and the 4 variables. So I want to view this. And how did we sort that? Yeah, I think we sorted it by country. Did we sort it by value as well? Yeah, it's by value as well too. So mainland China, right? 2013, 2012, 2010. So the latter years, the consumption has really gone up to 38 kilograms per capita. We saw what happened with the European Union, and the 1980 was the biggest year for pork consumption in the United States. And then 1981 trailed off a little bit, and then 1971. So it's been a few decades for pork consumption to really kind of max out in the United States and European Union as well. And it looks like China is really adopting, really kind of moving towards those numbers closer to the European Union high numbers for pork consumption. No surprise there. Okay, now the next thing that I wanted to do on cutting things is I want to be able to use the slice function. And I think that, it's kind of an alternative to kind of what I did in these other 2 data sets, but it's a different way of coding, really. And there's no one correct way in R to do things. You do things the way they work. So I'm going to call this alt. Oh, I'm going to try this. I have to comment it out. Biggest consumption. And I'm going to call this alt top MPTION. And let's see, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to just copy this. And then I'm going to use, I'm going to do a range by descending value is what I'm going to do here. And what we're going to do is we're going to replicate the top consumption data set just with a little bit of different code. And I'm going to use my slice function here. And this is, you just tell it the rows in the data frame that you want to cut out. So I'm going to do 1 through 3. And what we have here, we should get this same data frame, same set of values, using a little bit of different code, but the data is going to be the same. And that's what I expect to happen. Let's see, alt top consumption, we still have our 3 observations. So I want to open this one, view this one. So 1988, 1999, 1981, yeah, European Union, same values, right? Top consumption, alt. Yeah, look, I keep clicking here and the numbers don't change. Nothing changes. It's the same thing. So that worked. Different code, but the same way to, a different way to approach a problem, but you end up with the same result. So the last thing we're going to do here is we're going to try it with the biggest consumption data set using the slice function. So I'm going to call this alt. And alt big. So for this one, we're going to just kind of do the same thing here. We're going to copy this. Okay, move it over. Now, the order of these commands are important. So for here, I'm going to arrange it. Just copy that. But we're going to do it by country too. So I'm going to put here country and value. Okay, and then we're going to group it by country. And then I'm going to slice 1 through 3. And my expectation is I'm going to get 9 records here, but I'm going to get the top 3 records for each country. So we're not going to slice for 9 records. We're going to slice it for the 3 records within those groups. Okay, so I'm going to take, let me just move big consumption over here. And you see, we do have our 9 observations. Okay, so 9 records, 1 through 3 on the alt big consumption, and then, oh look, it's still not changing again. So an alternative way to do the same thing. So there's a saying, what's the saying? There's different ways to skin a cat, although I wouldn't want to skin a cat. But that's kind of what we're doing right here. And it's time for you to do a little bit of practicing. So I'm just kind of going to open up my window here for you to, maybe let's just put this up a little bit more. Bring in the libraries, read it in, and it's time for my mukbang today. Mukbang is going to be pizza, pepperoni pizza, homemade pepperoni pizza with hand-cut pepperoni. I want to show it over here. Can I put that over here? There's the pizza. Came out of the oven right about when I started the show. I'm going to sit here and eat it for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes. Give you guys a chance to practice, and then we'll wrap it up. My colleagues at the gaming table have already grabbed the pizza too. Another piece of pizza has disappeared from my plate. I didn't eat 3, I only ate 1. If you've followed any of the other episodes that I've done, you'll know that I like to code in the tidyverse style. For R, the pipe function is something that I really like to use. I think it makes the code readable. I think it makes the code really functionable as well. And to me, it has been a really big improvement for our functionality to be able to code like this. So I'm going to grab another slice of pizza, and then after I wolf this one down, then I will get back to the final wrap up. Well, I did love that pizza. So it was quite tasty. Now, just to kind of wrap it up, there's two functions in dplyr that I demonstrated here today. It's the top end. This is really good too if you have a whole bunch of data set, a whole bunch of data, and you want to get your boss says, give me the top 10 of whatever it is. It's an easy way, pull it out, rank it, and maybe if you have to merge it in or join it with some other data frames, it's a really good function to use. Slice is a little bit interesting because you can use it. I used it for the first 3 rows, but you can use it for any number of rows that you want in your data frame. So you could say, instead of slice 1 through 3, you could say 11 through 30, and it will pull out, cut up, like I said, the rows 11 through 30 and subset your data frame in those ways. So 2 really handy functions in dplyr that I hope you get a chance to use. So I want you to kind of keep practicing, copy and paste, and I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications for when I go live. I also want to, again, welcome the audience, new viewers from South Korea on Africa TV. And I appreciate your companionship with me here today. Until the next cast, goodbye for now, dear friends.